What's going on, fight fans? I'm back here with another video here set for you guys. Going to be talking about the boxing event that just concluded as of right now. Just going to be talking about the main event and the future fight between Tszyu and Bakhram Murtazaliev. Pretty much everybody and most everybody thought that Tszyu was going to have an easy ride and an easy fight against this guy. Not very known, not known well across the United States and many of fights that he's in, but pertaining to him and his type of exposure that he's gotten, a lot of people didn't really have a lot of money on him. So Tszyu was clearly a huge favorite in this fight. Bakhram was a huge underdog. And man, he just made this fight look completely easy, getting a third round TKO against Tszyu, who was looking honestly very well and very promising for his young career, especially being a son coming from his father, who was also a fighter. I forgot his first name, but obviously a Tszyu as well, coming from Australia. And Tszyu had a lot of success in his career. Pertaining to him, having a lot of wins and doing a lot of great things, especially earlier in his career in Australia. Most of his fights being in Australia. And he has some wins over some notable and some decent names, but nothing very, very up to par. Coming off that split decision loss against Sebastian Fundora, that cut really hindered him and his vision to be able to really see, but as well, Fundora put in a lot of good work, and it was a hellacious bloodbath of a battle between those two men. And coming off of that loss, you kind of expected more of a easier bounce back, or this was thought to be the easy bounce back to get a championship belt in the junior middleweight division and then get back his career back on track. And seeing all the stuff being talked about him on social media, about him wanting Crawford, Charlo, and maybe even Canelo, Bakhram made this fight look very, very easy, very simple and to the point. I mean, he was literally just timing Tszyu every single time with counters. Especially in that first round, you can definitely note that he was just trying to get his timing right, just touch him after Tszyu was throwing a lot of the punches that he was throwing with, and he got caught with some good shots, man. I mean, that's up to Tszyu. His defense was honestly very, very, weary, very leaky. He kept his hands low a lot, didn't really bring his hands to the guard or to the face to be able to protect himself, really. He usually just works on his pressure and his power. He relies on a lot to be able to push fighters and has that pace of being able to, wear down on fighters, especially mentally and physically. But this didn't work against Bakhram. Bakhram was really just worried about his timing, again, getting his counters correctly and to be able to counter Tszyu very effectively. And he did so with a nasty left hook, drops Tszyu in the second round. Then after he drops Tszyu, gets him out of there, continues to knock him down twice again in the second round, and really it was over while it was said done. I mean, the fight was pretty much, the fight started and the fight was already over. And to go into Bakhram not being known, not being a notable fighter, his last fight that he had a really poor performance, undefeated fighter, and you see how he stacks up against that division. You have Terrence Crawford, who's already a champion in the 154 division. You have Charlo, who is known still to be as the lineal undisputed champion in the junior middleweight division. Him and getting his career back on track, possibly looking at fighters like Errol Spence and Sebastian Fundora, who are going to be fighting for the PPC. So there's a lot of names. There's a lot of good fights, and there's a lot of good things to be able to see, and especially money-wise for Bakhram, putting him against a lot of good names and a lot of good fighters in that junior middleweight division. So while all of that is happening, his stock is on the rise. He has a lot of more, he's more notable now. He is a name that can be put into conversations of potentially giving a lot of other fighters troubles, especially maybe somebody like a Terrence Crawford, who, although I think skill-wise and technically wise, Terrence is a way better fighter than Bakhram, even though I haven't really saw him fight besides this fight that he just had with Tszyu. Power-wise, I mean, he definitely has enough power to be able to stave off any type of fighter that he's going against. Clearly, has some really good timing, clearly knows what he's doing, and has good technical prowess in the boxing ability, can be able to move back and move forward. So this is really, really good for his career, putting him into conversations, into names with men that are going to get him a lot of good fights. There's not really much to be able to talk about this fight, unfortunately. Tszyu just got rocked with a nasty left hook, dropped him again in the third round, and after that, the fight was pretty much over. The last knockdown before the towel came in was pretty much the end. That was a nasty, nasty left hook, counter left hook that he landed on him. That was tremendous. But a great win for Bakhram. Really is going to look good, and his stock is going up. But for Tszyu, man, defensively has to do a lot of work. He's taken now a lot of punishment, getting knocked out brutally in this fight, getting knocked down 5 times, technically, and having a lot of blood spilt in his previous fight against Sebastian Fundura. So there's some wear and tear on him as of right now. I think some time off will definitely do some good for him, and definitely a get-right fight, something easier for him down the line to be able to work on the deficiencies that he has in his game. But one thing before I go that I want to take some note about was PBC usually, especially with Amazon and moving it to Amazon Prime, they usually do mostly pay-per-view shows and events. It was really, really nice to just have a regular PBC event on Amazon Prime that you can just see, not have to pay. ESPN does it, DAZN does it every now and then, but PBC, this is their first time, especially with the contract that they have with Amazon Prime. Hopefully they're able to do that, especially even with fighters, just with the name of Tszyu, maybe a Charlo, maybe a Fundura. I don't think they would do it with Errol Spence or a Tank Davis or a Benavidez. I think they will save those for pay-per-views. But it was really, really nice to be able to finally get some quote-unquote free television, free TV fights on PBC, watching on Amazon Prime. And thank you guys for watching. Like this video, obviously. If you like this video, comment your opinions and what you think about Tszyu and where his career is going, and obviously Bakhram and his very notable win and great TKO knockout that he got in this fight. And subscribe, man. Subscribe if you want to be able to see more of this type of content, more consistent content about this boxing that I got for you guys. I got it for you guys. Thank you guys again for watching again, and peace.